It's week 4 of the Scottish Hydroelectric Premiership, National and Eastern Leagues. So far in the Borders, 4 of the teams are unbeaten, namely Selkirk, Hawick YM, Hawick Lindeen and St Boswells. Will that still be the case at the end of this weekend? Yes, welcome to Borders Rugby Roundup. A little bit later on, we'll tell you what happened here at Riverside Park between Jedforest and Stuart Melville. But let's begin with Premier 1. It was Selkirk, unbeaten, taking on Hawick at Mansfield Park. Hawick, of course, without a win yet this season. Reporting, Grahame MacGregor.
Well, Selkirk came down to Mansfield Park brimful of confidence after their great start to the season. They came up against a Hawick side stung into action themselves by their own poor campaign so far. Rory Hutton's standoff was a catalyst for Hawick, and they produced 6 tries, Hutton in most of the moves. The tries came from McNeil with 2, Rennick, Campbell, Coots and Hutton himself. For Selkirk, David Cassidy kept the scoreboard turning with 5 penalty goals, but it wasn't enough. A temporary halt to the Selkirk machine, but Hawick at last have shown us what they can do.
Yeah, obviously delighted with the victory this afternoon. There was a lot of chat about Selkirk coming to Hawick and what they were going to do, and they were on this great run. They were full of confidence, but I think we've proved that Division 1's a hard place, and you have to fight for every game. And we were desperate today, and I thought the boys played extremely well.
Hawick got the upper hand for the start, and it's never recovered for it. The kind of games like that, you have to start well to be in it for the 80 minutes, and who's never played today. Hawick never really gave a chance of credit to Hawick. We just have to pick ourselves up, and we've got what's on us next week. It doesn't get any easier.
Staying with Premier 1 now, and Melrose had a home game against Boroughmuir, who put 70 points past Glasgow Hawks last week. Melrose, of course, very disappointed with their defeat at Philiphaugh when they took on Selkirk. So what happened? Here's the details from Stuart McFarlane.
Boroughmuir probably just deserved to edge this one. 20-27, of course, the final score at the Green Yards. Boroughmuir, a big physical presence, really bulky forward line, and that was evident both in the first and in particular in the second half when they held up Melrose on their own line after Melrose pressed and pressed. A 5-6 minute spell of sustained pressure came to nothing. The real turning point came just after the start of the second half. Grahame Dodds yellow carded for Melrose just as Melrose had a narrow 2017 advantage, and then Boroughmuir scoring an interception try which really turned the game in their favour, and despite Melrose's best efforts they failed to breach the Boroughmuir line in the closing stages, and it finished Boroughmuir winning by 27 points to 20. But the key for me was the frustration on everyone concerned at the club, players, coaches, supporters. A really frustrating afternoon at the Green Yards.
Making far too many basic errors. Our scrum's not functioning correctly. Boroughmuir put pressure on us, and not always legally at times, but they played the referee and they let them off with it, so it's disappointing. We're far better than that, and we just got to try and snap out of it, because it's it becomes a habit, unfortunately.
So this is how the Premier 1 table looks after 4 matches. Next week, Hawick go to Meggetland to take on Boroughmuir. Selkirk are at home to Watsonians, will be there for that one, and Melrose are on the road to face Edinburgh Academicals. Well, back to this weekend, and here at Riverside Park, I watched Jedforest take on Stuart Melville. Stuart Melville, a team that were beaten by Jedforest twice last season. While Jed scored 5 tries and secured a bonus point before half-time to win 34-18, you got the feeling there was still plenty to come, and we certainly haven't seen the best of Jed. Robert Hogg scored 2 tries, Gary Hill, Robert Ferguson and Greg Walker each got 1, with Donald Grieve and Chris Andrews sharing the kicking duties. But they'll need to up their game next week if they're to beat Haddington. Also in Premier 2, Gala went to table toppers Haddington. Laing Speirs reports on this one.
Gala toppled the league leaders, but it took a robust second-half performance to get them through at Neilson Park. The forwards came good in the second half, but it took the loss of 2 men to yellow cards early on to put some life into them. Gala eliminated most of the errors that plagued their game the last 2 Saturdays, and they scored 2 tries through the forwards, Malcolm Hosborough and David Marshall, with Bruce Dick kicking 13 points.
We played really well. I think the difference today was there was a massive commitment to the jersey and the basic mistakes that, of losing ball in contact that had caused us all the problems in the last couple of weeks had been eradicated, and we played really straightforward, basic, keep the ball rugby, and a lot of the guys fronted up and played really well.
With news of the other games involving border sides in Premier 2, here's Richie Gray.
Peebles took bottom club Musselburgh apart comprehensively by 41 points to 0. Racking up 7 tries in the process from Alan Smiley and Craig Hunter, who got 2 apiece, Neil Hogarth, Donald Sangster and Adam Moffat, with Dan Botwood converting 3 of them.
Defence was strong. We've been working quite hard on our defence actually. We realise it's a tougher league than last year and teams will ask us a lot more, so we've worked hard on that and it's paying off at the moment. We've not conceded a huge amount, barring the first game against Stuart when we lost a couple of players, so our defence is working well.
Kelso were looking for a win after 2 draws in the bounce, but GHA proved too strong for them, and despite scoring 3 tries from Gorby Hartley, Nathan Trotter and Darren Gillespie, all converted by Kevin Utterson, they could only manage a bonus point, losing 27 points to 21. Jed are now 5th in Premier 2 on 13 points, Peebles are 6th and Gala 7th, both with 11, and Kelso still looking for their first win on 5 points. Next week, Gala are at home to Aberdeen Grammar, Jed host Haddington, Kelso are away against Stumel, and Peebles travel to Dundee.
After the break, a look at the National and Eastern Leagues involving Borders teams.
In the National League, there were wins for all the Border sides. In the East League Division 1, there were more Border wins for Duns, Hawick Harlequins and Hawick Lindeen, who are still unbeaten this season, while in the local derby, Earlston won at Gala YM 16-13. Next week's local fixtures are on your screen now.
Finally today, a brief chat with Mark Robertson of Melrose, son of Keith Robertson, the Scottish international, of course. Well, he's now got a pro contract with Edinburgh Gunners, and a couple of weeks ago he came back down to the Green Yards with his Edinburgh Gunners teammates to have a spot of training. We caught up with him.
30 or 40 young boys out today. I think it was guys from the Pathway, Berwickshire and Roxburghshire kids, and it was quite good to see a little bit of talent and stuff coming obviously through the system. I think all of us boys enjoyed giving a little bit back, and it was good to just do a little bit of training with them, to be honest.
And it wasn't that long ago where you were actually the youngster looking up at all these other guys.
No, I know. I still kind of obviously it's only my second season with them, so I'm still really enjoying being able to train with the likes of Chris Patterson and Webster and obviously Mikey Blair as well. I'm still learning lots from them every day, so it's good.
You can see more from that interview on our Melrose Rugby television page at our website. But that's it for this week. Join us again next Monday for Borders Rugby Roundup.